Okay, we can start with 2 minutes silence. Eyes closed. Body relaxed. Slow, deep breaths. Mentally chanting Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamrita Varshini Bhagavati Ashtadashadhyayani Ambatvamanusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshini Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavai Vedai Sangha Padakramopanishadai Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam Navidut Sura Sura Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. So in the 17th chapter, Bhagwan is telling us the how our different activities can be sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. So what are our ideals? What are our goals? So sattvic people worship gods and divine forces. Rajasic people worship powerful, wealthy people, and tamasic worship criminals. And then last week we talked about diet, how sattvic diet is one that is pleasing, that is lightly cooked, that improves health, that is not too spicy, not too rich, but easily digestible, and that helps to quieten the mind. Eating sattvic food quietens the mind and gets it ready for study. So sattvic food quietens the mind, and also a person with sattvic intentions will eat sattvic food. One who is predominantly sattvic will eat more sattvic food. And then we talked about rajasic food, which is extremely spicy, rich, very, very difficult to digest, very heavy, a lot of cream, a lot of salt. And such rajasic food becomes difficult to digest. It may give us energy, but then agitates the mind. So that's why they say that one should eat predominantly sattvic food. And then the tamasic food we talked about last week was the kind that is putrid, smelling, fermenting, and again, that includes all this alcohol, meat, cigarettes, all those drugs. So that all comes in tamasic intake. So that is where we had left last week. And then Bhagavan says that ahara trividhi sarvasya trividha and yajna tapa jnanam. So now what is yajna, what is tapa, and what is danam? And how can yajna, tapa, and danam be also sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic? One may think yajna is always sattvic, dana is always sattvic, tapa is always sattvic. But Bhagavan says even those can be of three different types. So we'll do shloka number 11, chapter 17, which talks about different kinds of yajna. And what exactly yajna means, we'll cover that. So apala kankshi bhir yajnaha vidhi drishto ya ijyate yashtavyameveti manaha samadhaya sa sattvikaha. So this yajna that is done aphala kankshi bhihi. So by people who are not desirous of a particular fruit. Aphala kankshi means fruit. So they do not have this akanksha, this desire for a particular fruit. So how can we do activity without expecting results? We'll talk about that. They do not expect a particular result. Aphala kankshi bhir yajna. So this yajna performed by people who do not have a particular desires. Vidhi drishto. Vidhi means by the scriptures, by the ordinance of the scriptures. So yajna performed according to scriptures. Yaha. So this person, ijyate, this person performs yajna with the idea that I do not need any particular goal and I do it according to the scriptures. And yashtavyam, and it must be done eva, yashtavyam eva iti manaha. That's how in his mind he says, I must do this yajna. Mana samadhaya. Samadhaya means having placed the mind firmly in that idea. Sa sattvikaha. So that is sattvic yajna, and let us cover that a little bit in detail. So first of all, what is the meaning of the word yajna? So yajna, one meaning is offering, oblations into the fire, where Panditji comes, lights a fire, and then offers, sticks and in all these, ahutis, and then chants mantras. So that is one meaning of yajna. But Bhagavan Sri Krishna and Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda ji has given us a different meaning of yajna in the Bhagavad Gita, where yajna is any activity that people get together and perform for the common good. So activities that are performed for the benefit of the individual and for all. So that is sattvic yajna. So the main purpose of this yajna is that any activity, it could be any activity, could be your job, could be cooking at home, could be taking care of the family, could be running a country, running a nation. Any activity, running a business, can be sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. If it is unselfish, if it is performed for the benefit of all, not only for me, myself, and I, or not only for me and my family. Of course, I need to take care of my family if I'm running a business, but the main purpose of my life is how I can serve the world. So unselfish activities according to the scriptures. See, the scriptures give do's and don'ts, whether it's in the Bhagavad Gita, all the instructions are given. In Bible, the 10 commandments, the 8 rules of Buddha. So the scriptures all give us instructions. So this yajna, when it is performed, dedicated to the Lord, then whether it's offering into the fire or whether it is work, my work is unselfish, according to the scriptures. And yashtavyam, it is my duty. I must do it. So all my activities should be done as my duty. So Gurudev in his commentary says there are 4 kinds of activities. One is nishiddha karma. Nishiddha karma means forbidden, should not be done. Then kamya karma, desire prompted activities, second, should not be done. Third is nitya karma, and fourth is naimitya karma. Nitya and naimitya, can close it fully, please. Nitya and naimitya means they are called niyatam karma, means they must be done. So nitya is daily activities, naimitya is special activities. Like there is a wedding or a child is born or somebody passes away, I have to go. Or Diwali, Christmas, those are special activities. Those are called naimitya. So first 2, it should not be done. Desire prompted and forbidden should not be done. And my nitya and naimitya, daily activities and special activities, should be done as a duty dedicated to God and for the welfare of all. And that's what we see in the lives of great Mahatmas, great teachers, Pujas Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda ji, how they dedicated their whole life to serving mankind. And what is the purpose of my doing such activity? Why am I doing sattvic activity? They say for chitta shuddhi, for purification of the mind. Because when an activity is done for the benefit of all, performed unselfishly, without I and my, then such activity purifies the mind, reduces my selfishness, reduces my greed, reduces my anger, hatred, jealousy, all those are reduced. And the mind becomes filled with kindness, compassion, love. So the purpose of this activity is chitta shuddhi. And without chitta shuddhi, spiritual progress is not possible. If I want to progress spiritually, I have to reduce raga dvesha in my mind, reduce likes and dislikes. I like this person, I don't like this. Seeing everything as that one divine presence. So when one identifies with the totality, then such a person's mind becomes free of likes and dislikes. So the next question is, how can I do that? So this is, what do I identify with? Say a person is an employee in a company and he so identifies, that whether it's Apple or Microsoft or a hospital or Kaiser or whatever. And for him, the job is the most important thing, that I'm an employee, he may be a manager, he may be an executive. And the company is doing well, then I'm doing well. If the company is not doing well, I'm not doing well. And then when he goes to work, he has so much stress because I have to do my best, I have to perform. But if he does it as a duty that I do it, but without this identification that I am that employee and I'm working for the company, but if I'm so identified with that attitude, then I become stressed. You say, family stress doesn't bother me, personal things don't bother me, but when I go to work, I have so much stress. Why? Because I identify with that. Another person may be identified with his body, that I am this body. And then when bodily problems come, then he gets stressed. And all his life he spends in nourishing the body, fattening the body. Not that one shouldn't take care, but if you identify that I am this body, then your whole life will be spent in that. Or somebody identifies with his intellect. He thinks I'm very smart. And if somebody insults me, then I feel very bad because I thought I was the smart guy. So what they say, identify with Bhagwan, with the consciousness within. And all these are my equipments. This body, mind, and intellect is my equipment. This job I am doing is a work, and it is a play. I'm in the play, I'm in this, and there I have been given this job of a pharmacist or an engineer or a doctor or dentist, whatever role. I accept that role. I perform to the best of my activity, but do not get attached to the role. I say this is a role I am playing, just as an actor playing a role. And then what happens to the phala? What happens to the result? Accept it. Aphalakankshi. That means I do my best. I put in the best effort. It's not that I don't work, but at the end of the day, whatever result comes, it is Bhagwan's prasad. Bhagwan, this is what I deserve, and this is what I got. Because I will get what I deserve, not what I want. And that is called sattvic. So I accept that result as Bhagwan's prasad and play life as a game. In this life, I have a game, I have a role, I have a, and in the game, there will be win and loss. You know, when you're playing cricket, you know, someday Indian team loses, someday Indian team will win. We just didn't win the World Cup. But if you ask the players, they are so stressed. Oh, because the whole country is depending on us. And so then the game becomes stressful. But if you are performing the activity just as, okay, this is my role, I'm doing it to the best of my ability, I accept the result, then stress will be less. So that's what they say. Sattvic work is the one that purifies the mind and does not give us stress. And it is performed according to the scriptures, according to instructions of the scriptures. And not I myself decide what I want to do, but what is written in the Bhagavad Gita, what is written in Ramayana, Mahabharata, and so on. So that is Sattvic. Now we'll do Rajasic, shloka number 12. Abhisandhaya tu phalam dambharthamapi chaivayat ijyate bharata shrestha tayagnyam vidhi rajasam. Together, abhisandhaya tu phalam dambharthamapi chaivayat ijyate bharata shrestha tayagnyam vidhi rajasam. So, ijyate bharata shrestha. O Arjuna, who is the shrestha, who is the best among the Bharata family. So the moment when he calls him Bharat Shrestha, that means you are not Rajasic or Tamasic, you are Sattvic. So this is not for you, you are beyond that. So he's praising him. So what is Rajasic activity? Abhisandhaya tu phalam means the mind is firmly entrenched in the result. And what is the result? We'll talk about that. Abhisandhayatu phalam and dambhartham, and it is done for show, ostentation, to show off. Cha eva yata. So that activity which is done for result means what will I get out of it selfishly and to show off to others. Such a activity, one who does, O Bharat Shrestha, O Arjuna, who is the best among the Bharata family, one who does activities in this way, selfish activity for show off, tam yajnam, that yajnam vidhi rajasam, know that activity to be rajasic. So what are rajasic activities? The first thing is, when I perform an activity, what will I get? I get. What will I get? What will I get? What will I get? That is, most people, they think that that is the way to work. That, what will I get? Society gets or not doesn't matter. And we find that more and more this selfishness is increasing in the society. That's why we have these conflicts. That's why we have problems. That's why we have international conflicts. There is so much problem between Democrats, Republicans, and all over the world. This I and my mentality, unfortunately, is increasing rather than going down. And that is Kali Yuga, where people are working for I and myself. And so the whole purpose of life is, how can I get the most for myself? Not how can I give. That's why our pledge says giving more than what we receive, producing more than what we consume. Gurudev has told us that our purpose of life is to give more than I get. Of course, we need to take care of our family and myself, but my whole purpose is, how can I give more than what I receive? And all the scriptures say that. So activities that are performed with that attitude. Second is ostentation, show off. Even if I'm doing a spiritual activity, say I organize a yajna, then I say I'm doing it because people should come and see, how a great religious person I am, how much yajnas I'm doing. Or even if I'm doing any activity, I want to see whether the newspapers will be there or not, will my name be in the paper or not. Even when I'm helping others, which will also come in Dhanam, I'm doing it not because of the idea of helping, but with the idea of show off. If my name is in papers, how many reporters will be there? Will the TV channels be there or not? So the purpose of every activity, even doing a spiritual activity, is to show off. And business can be run in a sattvic, rajasic, or a tamasic fashion. So let us see how. So sattvic business is like, say my expenses are 1 million and I make 2 million, but out of that extra million, I then share I keep what I need, but then I share, and I maybe do some charitable work. I build some hospital or some orphanage, or donate to a spiritual institution. And I keep enough for myself and for the business to grow. And as the business grows, I give more and more. So people will be happy. Oh, look, this person's business is growing, but he's serving more. So you will get the prayers of others also whom you are helping. So then your business growth becomes sattvic. But another person is there who expense is 1 million and he makes 3 million. He makes more than the sattvic. But his whole purpose of that is that 2 million I make, I should give little to the shareholders, but rest I should expand. I should build another franchise, another business. Not that anything wrong with growing, but then he doesn't share anything. Either he keeps it for himself or he expands himself, makes himself more powerful, more wealthy, and at times even does dishonest things to grow. By hook or crook, I should grow my business. It doesn't matter how many people I cheat, doesn't matter how many people I hurt. So that kind of business is rajasic, where I do it selfishly for myself, And I keep the profits and I use it to grow more and more and become more and more powerful. But the idea is that the more I grow, the more I should give. So if I keep everything for myself, don't share with others. And yes, I'm doing business, I may be providing a service, but that business is only for personal gain. So that is called Rajasic. And that is number 12. Now, number 13 is Tamasic. And then we can put all the three together and see how the three of them, when you put them side by side, how they work. So Tamasic number 13, Vidihinam Mantrahinam Dakshinam Shraddha Virahitam Yajnam Tamasam Parichakshate. Together, Vidhihinam Srishtanam Mantrahinam Dakshinam Shraddha Virahitam Yajnam Tamasam Parichakshate. So Tamasam Parichakshate means it's seen as tamasic, and it is called tamasic. It is understood as tamasic. So understand, O Arjuna, what is tamasic also. Again, not that Arjuna is a tamasic individual, but this Bhagavad Gita is for all of us. And not only, the thing is, we are all a mixture of all three. We have Rasattva, we have Rajas, we have Tamas. All of us have that. And the question is, in my life, how much I should increase Sattva? And even when I'm doing activity, I should do it with a Sattvic goal in mind, even when I'm doing Rajasic activity. And Tamas is required for sleep, for rest. But if my goal of life is predominantly Tamasic, then that is to be criticized. So here, Vidhihinam. Vidhihinam means without doing it the way the scriptures have. So scriptures say this is how you should lead your life. Vidhi means as per instructions, as per the right thing. Hina means without instructions. Shrishta annam, and not giving food. So one is giving food to, like, say, whoever, a Panditji who has come, done the yajna, you give him some food, or the people who are attending the yajna giving food. But food here also means that this person doesn't share with anybody, and he doesn't believe at all in helping. His whole intention is not only to keep for myself, but how I can become more powerful and put others down. So the whole goal of life is not only to make myself powerful, but to put others down. And when he is doing yajna, he may do it, but it's not according to ordinance. Even if there is a Panditji, he doesn't mantrahinam, and he does not believe in mantras. He says, okay, I have to do this inauguration of my facility. Jalo jaldi jaldi khatam karo. You don't need to waste too much time in doing too much. I just do a brief puja and go. When you are doing some activity, you're doing a puja or an activity, it should be done the right way. I should do with the right kind of mantras properly. But people do that even in wedding. They say, Panditji, wedding should finish in 20 minutes or half an hour. Cut it short. I don't want too many mantras. We need to end because we have, our cocktails ready afterwards. So, finish the wedding quickly so we can all go and have. No, when you're doing a thing, do it with the proper mantras, do it according to the scriptures. But they do it just because it is to be done, but they have no faith in it. And a dakshinam, and they do not even give good dakshina to the Panditji. They do not give anything to anybody. Their whole purpose is completely without Shraddha. Shraddha virahitam. Totally, they have no faith in the scriptures. They have no faith in the yajna. They are doing activity only for the sake of doing it, but absolutely without Shraddha. And that is called tamasic. Tamasic also means activities that are harmful to me and to the community. When you translate it into yajna, then activities that are harmful. So people say who are, uh, for example, a company, we talked about Sattvic, where this person has a big firm, but he helps others. Rajasic is he keeps the money for himself and keeps on growing, expanding to make himself powerful. What is tamasic business? Selling alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, or selling arms, gun sellers. So that is tamasic business. From 1 million, you may make 5 million a year, but like marijuana. So selling those kind of drugs or doing those kind of activities, even though your business may grow a lot, from one franchise, you have 5 franchise, but they are what? All of them are bars, or they are selling drugs or marijuana or so the end result, what we look at in a business, we look at the bottom line. Okay, what is the bottom line? At the end of this year, I made 5 million. Next year, I make 7 million, then 10 million. But how did I make that money is very important. Whether I did it with Sattvic, where a part of it I used to serve society, or whether I used it to become more powerful, or whether my business is harmful to society, selling drugs, selling alcohol, marijuana, selling arms, these gun, Second Amendment, people say I have to have a right to own guns, I have a right to sell guns. And we find so much violence every day in the newspaper, in the TV, you hear about somebody who has shot. Now we heard about those football players because one guy was mad because he was left off the team. So he took a gun and in the bus, he killed other football young men, who were, and it is becoming a daily occurrence, mass murders. Why? Because guns are becoming freely available. People say, I have a right to own guns. But then ordinarily that football player, if he got mad, he would have punched another football player. But because he had a gun, he could kill. And we find little children get killed. It happens in school, 16-year-old, we read, he took guns to school and he shot people, he shot his teacher. So that is called tamasic, where we sell guns, where we sell that. Even physicians can be sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. You say, what? Physicians? Yes. A sattvic physician is one who practices medicine for the welfare of society. Of course, everybody, knows he'll get paid and he has to take care of his family and physician will have a nice house. But my main purpose to go into medicine was to serve humanity, that how can I give maximum benefit to maximum people? And what is a Rajasic physician? Rajasic physician is one whose whole idea is how much money can I make from this profession? How much, and it can be any business, any profession, but I was just thinking of physician, that again, his whole purpose is to be, I'll be the richest physician, most powerful, most successful, I'll have a big group, empire, big group, I'll own a, and then others will work for me and I'll keep expanding, growing. So that is Rajasic. And what is Tamasic physician? Is one who gives drugs where they are not required. So people come and say, I need some Valium. And he said, whether he needs it or not, he'll give Valium, pain medicine. And then some people become known for that. Some doctors become known for that. They say, very easy. You want drugs? Go to this guy. He'll, without even doing a physical, they'll just write a prescription. Give me 75 bucks and here's your prescription for drugs or Valium. So even a physician can be sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. See, because this is tamasic, where you're freely prescribing drugs and getting people addicted, getting people hooked on drugs. So that is what they say, that in any profession you can take, you will find that there can be sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. I just gave a few examples of business and physician, but in any activity, as we saw last week, even diet can be. So what is the phalam? So let us combine the three, sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. What is the fruit? So in sattvic activity, there is drishta phalam and adrishta phalam. Drishta is phalam is what I see. Okay, I put in the business, I put 1 million, I got 2 million. That is drishta phalam. But with that extra million I made, if I serve society and help others, then I get adrishta phalam. I get punyam, and that punyam will go with me even when I leave this body and go. So that is called adrishta phalam. That is called merit. So in sattvic activity, you get both. You help society at the same time you are doing good for yourself. We are not saying that one should not be successful, but that success should be accompanied by humility, which we will see in the next shloka, and gratitude to Bhagwan. Bhagwan, thank you for giving this to me, and whatever I have is for service for Bhagwan. That is called drishta and adrishta phalam. Now, how about Rajasic? Rajasic gets drishta phalam. You can see it. He'll become very successful. He had one store, then he'll have two stores, then three stores. He'll buy a bigger house, more powerful. He'll be known in society as a very rich businessman, very successful. He will have drishta phalam, no doubt, but there won't be adrishta phalam. Why? Because he's not accumulating punya. His whole purpose of working and earning is for me, myself, and I, and my family. And how about tamasic? He gets neither drishta phalam nor adrishta phalam. Even if he grows, people look down on it. They won't say that, oh, this guy is, no, this guy, he gives drugs or he sells, alcohol or guns. So neither he will get adrishta phalam nor he will get drishta phalam. He will get no phalam at all. He will get only negativity happening in his life. Why? Because his shraddha is wrong kind of shraddha. His shraddha is not only selfish, but it is harmful to society. So here we can see that Sattvic yajna is for purification, chitta shuddhi, for serving society, and personal also, of course, the person will have success. Rajasic only cares for himself, and tamasic is his whole purpose is not only I should help myself, but he doesn't care about society. If society gets hurt, let them go. So that is tamasic, rajasic, and sattvic yajna, activities that are done with sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. Now Bhagavan changes the topic to tapa. Tapa means austerities. So we have finished the yajna. Now tapa. Now tapa, before talking about three types of tapa, Bhagavan tells us what is sharirik tapa, manasik tapa, and vachasik tapa. So what is physical tapas? What is tapas of speech? And what is tapas of mind? So how and what exactly is the meaning of tapa? We think tapa means to torture the body, stand on one leg, and or sit for months and then in the heat and cold. No, not that. What is true tapa, and how tapa can be tapas of the body, tapas of speech, and tapas of mind? That Bhagwan will tell us, and then he will go into what is sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic tapa. So we can see in 17th chapter a lot of details of how we should live our life is given very beautifully by Bhagwan Shri Krishna. So today we'll do the tapas of the body called Shariram Tapa. That is shloka number 14. Deva Dvija Guru Prajna Pujanam Shaucham Arjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsa Cha Shariram tapa uchyate. Together. Deva Dvija Guru Prajna Pujanam Shaucham Arjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsa Cha Shariram Tapa Uchyate. So Shariram Tapa Uchyate. So Tapa can be at the body level, speech level, or mind level. So here Bhagavan is telling us what is Sharirik Tapa, what is Tapa of the body. So Deva means God. Dvija means the twice born, that is Brahman. So we'll talk about what is Dvija, what is Brahman. Guru is of course our spiritual teacher. Prajna means one who has wisdom. So Deva is God and Dvija Guru, Prajna is go together. The Guru who is wise and whose mind is always in Brahman. We'll talk about what is Dvija. And Pujanam, so worshipping God and wise people, gurus, Brahmans, that is Sharirik Tapa. Shaucham means cleanliness. Arjavam means straightforwardness. Bhagwan again and again brings up these points to remind us that don't forget Arjavam. Brahmacharyam. Brahmacharyam has two meanings, so we'll talk about that. One meaning is living in self-control, and other brahmacharyam is one whose mind always brahmani charati iti brahmacharyam, one whose mind always revels in Brahman, in God, that is brahmacharyam. Ahimsa is non-violence. Cha shariram tapa uchyate, that is said to be sharirik tapa. So if you practice these qualities, then you are practicing sharirik tapa. So Deva means God. So worshipping God, we all know that. You get up in the morning, you get up remembering God. Don't get out of bed without chanting the name of the Lord, and then afterwards take a bath and do some puja, do some, offer food to the Lord and then eat. And then before you go to bed at night, again, remembering God, chanting God's name, chanting a mantra, so that your mind, the last thought in your mind is God's name. So that is one, the Deva Puja. Other Deva also means the natural forces. They are also called Devas. So the god of the wind, Vayu Devta, Varun Devta is the god of the ocean, the water. Indra Devta is god of rains. So all these natural forces. So what do we mean by worshipping these natural forces? That means taking care of the environment. So the people who take care of the environment, not polluting, not increasing my carbon footprint, not buying more than what I need, not consuming too much, buying more efficient cars, solar. So these things are called conserving the natural forces. So taking care of the natural forces, that is called Deva Pujanam. Now, what is Dvija, Guru, Prajna? They can go together. Dvija means twice born. So twice born means one birth I have from my mother's womb, and that is the first birth. But Gurudev in his commentary says the second birth is when I come out of this ego, because we are in the prison of this ego and we are caught. But a person who gets out of ego can only be called twice born, where he realizes his true nature. As long as I am in the prison of the ego, I have only had one birth. Who has a second birth? One who has got out of this ego. Even though Brahmins are automatically called Dvija, but truly to be called a Dvija, one has to live a life without ego. In fact, that is our message even to the children today. We are going to talk about ego, where there is no I and mine. And same thing for Guru, respect for the Guru, because the spiritual knowledge that the Guru has given us is incomparable. Nothing can pay that. And prajna again means the wise people. So I should constantly respect wise people, gurus, wise people, brahmanas who are spiritually evolved, who are serving, who are teaching us all this knowledge we have is because of Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmaya ji and all of his other students who have continued this mission, Swami Tejomaya ji, Swarupa ji, Swami Ishwarananda ji, whom we meet frequently. So respect for Guru. And what does that do? It creates humility. It creates gratitude that, oh God and oh Guru. That's why they say Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara. Guru has the same status as Bhagwan. So humility and gratitude for this knowledge. And same thing towards Bhagwan also. Gratitude that thank you for what you have given me. And this humility and this creates an attitude of seva, of service, that may I help society. Talking about gratitude and humility towards wise people, I heard a very beautiful story. So there was this ship that was going, this was 1892, when Swami Vivekananda was coming to the United States from India, and the ship was going to stop in Europe, in Germany and other places in Europe, and then come to the States. So it was going to take several months. So J.R.D. Tata, the founder of Tata Business, was riding on the same ship. And he was taking some soil from India to Germany for analysis. Yeah, to Germany, and then from there to England. And he said, I'll have the soil analyzed to see how much iron is in the soil and whether I can use that to make Tata steel. He wanted to make steel. So he was taking a sample of soil. He said, I'll take it to Germany, take it to England and have them analyze and then tell me how much iron I have and whether I can make a steel factory in India or not, Tata Steel. So he found out that there is this wise person called Swami Vivekananda who is also on the same ship. It was a coincidence. Both were riding on the same ship, were sailing on the same ship. So he said, let me talk to him. So he goes and he sees Swamiji standing on the side, alone on the side of the ship. So he says, he goes down, bows down and says, Swamiji, I'm so glad to meet you. I've heard so much about you. I need some advice. So he says, what advice do you need? So he says, I'm taking this sample to be analyzed in England and Germany and all, to see if there is enough iron in the Indian soil so that can I make a steel plant? So Swamiji tells him, he says, wait, you are depending on some foreigners to tell you whether you can do it or not. And their motive will be very different. They do not want that you should be making steel and factories. They want that you should buy everything from us. He said, then what should I do? He says, go to the Maharaja of Mysore, because the Maharaja of Mysore has sent me for the World Conference of Religions. Go to that Maharaja and ask his help and make an institute of research in India, where you can do these same things. What can be done in England, what can be done in Germany. So J.R.D. Tata said, that is very good advice. He bowed down, he touched his feet. Of course, he may have taken advice from England and Germany, but then he went back to the Maharaja, got funds, and the Maharaja gave him 300 acres. And he said, okay, set up an institute of research. And so the Indian Institute of Science was started with the advice of Swami Vivekananda and by a wise. So that's what happens. If when two wise people get together, then the best results happen. And that institute has produced so many scientists, so much research is done. So the point is that respect for gurus, respect for wise people is called sattvic. So pujanam, shaucham. Shaucham means cleanliness. We have talked about cleanliness of the body, cleanliness of my surroundings, my closet, my office, not throwing dirt. Like if we come to this mission, now everybody's here for classes, children and adults. And if there's dirt lying around and, this room is full of filth and there are cobwebs and, smelly, you won't feel like listening. You won't even feel like coming. So keeping the surroundings clean so that my mind can then go on spirituality instead of looking at the dirt. That's why we try our best to keep this place, clean and maintain. Talking about clean, do you know why they lock gas station restrooms? Gas station restrooms are always locked, right? You need a key to get in. You know why they keep them locked? Because if they keep them unlocked, somebody might come in and clean them. So they make sure that nobody can get in to clean them. So I know everybody has experience with gas station restroom. So the point is that cleanliness, that's why they say cleanliness is next to godliness. So shaucham is that I should, and not only cleanliness of the body, but cleanliness of the mind. My mind should be clean, not full of anger, greed, and we'll talk about that in the ahimsa. But mind also should be clean with positive thoughts. That is shaucham. And arjavam is straightforwardness. What I think, what I speak, and what I do should be straightforward. Arjavam also means straightforwardness in activities, that I do what is right, I do what is upfront without any hidden agenda, without, I say something else, but, they say, no, muh mein Ram, bagal mein churi. There's the very famous phrase in India that Hindi, they say, outside they're saying Ram, Ram, but they have churi with them, then how can I poke you in the back? So that is not called arjavam. And arjavam also means posture, keeping a upright posture, sitting straight. That is all arjavam. Then brahmacharyam. Brahmacharyam, one of course is self-control. One brahmacharyam we understand as not indulging, with the opposite sex. What I mean, keeping that under control, because that burns a lot of energy, and living that under control. But brahmacharyam is not only that, but in all my activity, I should avoid overindulgence, not eating too much, not speaking too much, not too much of these parties and socializing and all that. That should be restricted for a spiritual seeker. Why? Because overindulgence, whether in food, whether in talking too much, whether too much time on the telephone, on the internet, then everybody has the same 24 hours. Everybody needs to work, everybody needs to cook, needs to sleep. But my spare time, how am I using it? If I'm just wasting it in doing harmful or unnecessary activities, then that is not brahmacharyam. So keeping my mind and body control under limits. Brahmacharyam also means brahmani charati iti brahmacharyam. So one whose mind is always reveling in Brahman, in God, that is true brahmacharyam. So brahmacharyam is not only living in self-control, but that time I save, let me spend it in thinking about God. Let me spend it in reading good books. Let me spend it in doing puja. Let me spend it in seeing God everywhere, so that my every activity should become a service of God. So I say, save my energy, don't waste it outside. And with that conserved energy, I use it for my own spiritual growth and for serving society. So because energy, everybody has energy, but where do we use it? That is brahmacharya, whether I use it for others or only use it for myself. So that is brahmacharya, living a life of moderation. Even in 6th chapter, Bhagwan says, yuktahara viharasya, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, like that. Yukta swapana vabodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkhaha. So if you want to reduce dukkha, live a life of self-control in my eating, in my, not even too much of traveling, restrict that and spend time in silence, in solitude. And then ahimsa. Ahimsa is one is, of course, physical ahimsa, like we talked about guns or hurting somebody. Then hinsa can be speech. And hinsa can be mental, where I mentally get angry at somebody. I can't say it because that person is in authority or is my boss, but I'm all the time angry towards that person. And I'm restricting my anger. But that anger is not only is very harmful to us, first of all. If I am constantly angry at somebody, whom am I hurting most? Myself first. And then sooner or later, that anger will manifest as speech, angry speech and angry actions. So reducing himsa is that there can be no physical, mental, or even speech. Speaking sweetly, that we'll do next week. What is tapa of speech? We'll talk about that next week. So tapaha in Sanskrit, when you reverse it, becomes pata. So when I do activities that are sattvic, that is tapa. But when I do activities that are predominantly rajasic and tamasic, it is opposite. It is pata. Pata means falling down, going downwards. So living a life of discipline, that is brahmacharyam. And that is important. Not that one should not enjoy or one should not go out or one should not eat or drink good things, but that is not my whole purpose in life. Of course, one has to enjoy life and travel and all that. But that, people say after retirement, what are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to travel. I'm going to go everywhere. This is the time to sit down and think of Bhagwan. Yeah, travel is good. Okay, go to some countries, but predominantly the idea should be that as I become older, more and more of my time, even in youth, of course, time should be spent in spirituality. But as we are retired or close to retirement, my life should slowly shift. So that is the purpose of life. And all these sadhanas are called bahiranga sadhanas. Bahiranga means external sadhanas. So why do I do external sadhanas? Why do I do brahmacharyam, ahimsa, shaucham, arjamam? Why do I restrict, not do too much outside? So I have time for inner growth, antarang sadhana. So conserving that time helps me to now spend more time in spiritual studies. Shravana, manana, nididhyasana. So I go to the guru, I listen to the guru, and then I contemplate upon that, and then I make a change in my life. So the whole purpose of this, all of these sattva, rajas, and tamas, and this tapa is that I should have more time for antarang sadhana. So I save my time, don't waste it up, because time is a very precious commodity. We only have so many years to live. We don't know when our life will end. And even if it does, most of the life is spent in childhood, then in earning and in youth and so on. So there is not that much time left. We don't know how much time we have. So best is to save time from worldly things and spend as much as possible time in antarang sadhana, in inner. And that is what we call as sadhan chatushtaya, vivek, vairagya, Shat Sampatti, Mumukshutvam, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. So meet with gurus, listen to them, read the scriptures, read commentary. Puja Gurudev has given very beautiful commentary of Bhagavad Gita. Most of you have it. If you don't have it, please buy it in the office, because this has all the 18 chapters, word by word translation given, and a commentary. So please do that. But that's how I study. When I prepare, I use this Bhagavad Gita by Puja Gurudev to give me the word by word meaning. And then Gurudev has a commentary, and then I try to listen to a couple of other commentaries to get little more ideas. And so that is where we'll end today. It's almost 12 o'clock. So we have about 10 minutes. If anybody has any questions, comments. So we covered 4 shlokas, Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic Yajna, and then how to Sharirik Tapa, what is Tapa of the body. So this is where we'll end. We have, anybody has any questions, comments? Anybody would like to add something?
Hello, Hari Om, Anil. This is Veena. I just had a question.
Either in the
Thank you
class
for.
or in Zoom, anywhere.
I have a question. Thank you for the very detailed explanation of all the three kind of.
Lata, Kusum, Satish Bhai, anybody? My regular ones. Yeah, Lata, go ahead.
Veena was asking you a question. Are you able to hear her?
I can't hear you. Is the volume low?
I was asking a question, Anil. So can you hear me?
I can't hear you. Oh yeah, the volume is off. Speaker is off.
Can you? Yeah. I unmuted. Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. I just had a question or your thoughts on this. So the accruing wealth, in different forms. You talked about tamasic and sattvic and all that. So rajasic. So we have seen many organizations or any professions, some of them accrue it by different means, like you said, not so honest or loyal way. But then we have seen anybody, like even politicians or doctors or lawyers or business people who do not so much acquire through a proper means, but still they make lots of donations, and they say it's for good cause. So I just had a question, like, what is the benefit where they get, and the people who receive such money which is not through the proper means. Just your thoughts or comments on.
Right. Now that's a very good question. I think more important is the means, how I'm acquiring the wealth. If I acquire the wealth by dishonest means, and then even if I do charity, yes, it will help, and everything will have, a result. If I acquire dishonest, I will accumulate papa. And if I give, I will accumulate some punya, but then you have to look at the balance. If my life is predominantly dishonest, tamasic, rajasic, then giving may help. I think the person receiving, I don't think it affects him that much, but if he knows that this wealth is dishonestly gained, and then if I become like this, Valmiki, when he was Ratnakar and he was stealing money and then feeding his family, and then when he went and asked his family that I'm doing sin, will you be part of it? And his wife and son said no, children said no. So yes, knowing that this wealth is dishonestly gained, yes, if you become a partner in it, then you are accumulating negative karmas also. Yes.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Lata, go ahead, please.
I think Umaji was in line before me.
Thank you, Lata.
Go ahead. Actually, I don't have the, I'll do the view, gallery view. Go ahead, Umaji.
Anilji, at one point you said people go on travel and everything, but as far as I remember reading, that in the past, people used to go on travels to all these holy places. So was that travel bad or?
No. What I meant was, I'm not saying that travel in holy places is bad. Travel to holy places is definitely good. What I meant was that all my, travel is good. I don't mean to put down travel. I myself have traveled so much. We have traveled through Asia, through Australia, through parts of India. Swami Ishwarananda ji has taken us on many spiritual pilgrimages, and also those are good. I'm not putting that down. What I'm saying is that a person who is retired, his only purpose in remaining is to travel. That's what I meant. Travel is good. There's nothing wrong with travel, and to widen your horizon, meet people. See, I myself used to travel a lot, and every year or twice a year, we would take trips to India, to Europe and Australia. But the point is that as your time is limited, where am I going to spend my time? No, pilgrimages are very good. Again, if it is done with that right attitude that I'm going to meet Bhagavan and Bhagavan is there, rather than just to take a picture selfie and then put it on Facebook, how many spiritual places I have visited. the idea should be that I'm going to meet God, Bhagavan himself, and whether it's, going to Ayodhya or going to Amarnath, where Lord Shiva is there, or Vaishno Devi, those are all good, going to spiritual places. So I don't mean that. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I didn't mean to put down travel. What I meant was that a lot of people you talk to, that's all their purpose is of after retirement is, what am I going to do? Travel. That's what I meant. Spend time in God. Yeah, Lata, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I have two questions. The first one, I missed the last week's class. The kind of foods that you eat, one that affects your thoughts, or
Yes.
is it the one way your composition or your predominance affects the way you eat, you pick the food?
Both. Actually,
It goes both ways?
Amit has posted it on the first power. He has posted last week's talk. But yeah, it is the food affects your mind. If you eat sattvic food, your mind is quiet. If you eat rajasic food, it's passionate. Tamasic food like alcohol and drugs and all will make you go down. But also people who are sattvic will like sattvic food. People who are rajasic, more passionate, will eat more passionate food, more spicy, more bitter, sour, all those. And same thing. And a tamasic person will like tamasic food, drugs and all that. So it works both ways. Food affects your mind, and then with your mind, you select a particular food.
Mm. So my second question is, the laddus made with jaggery, good, are they sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic?
Laddus made with jaggery again. I
need an answer.
I would call them rajasic, I guess, but
Oh, okay.
but
so
then
I'll
if you
eat
offer it to Bhagwan and eat a little bit, then that is sattvic.
Okay, so I'll eat those before I go on pilgrimage.
Right.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? We have a few more minutes.
Anilji, the one thing I remember when I was going through this chapter earlier is that somewhere I read where I think our divisions like Brahma, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra,
Right.
their preference of food is different as well.
Yes.
And I think it is necessary for, say, Kshatriya to have tamasic food, right?
Rajasic food.
Rajasic food, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't there a mention of that somewhere?
Yes, that is there when the Bhagavan divides into Brahmana, Kshatriya. Depends on your profession. Now, a wrestler or a soldier will need to eat more rajasic food, while a person, but most of us, we do, a lot of desk work. We don't go out and lift heavy rocks, or we don't go and wrestle with people. So our activity is more sedentary. So that's what they're saying, that yes, again.
But I thought there was also mention of tamasic food, like the soldier may need to eat meat in order to perform. I don't know. I may have misinterpreted
No, that
myself.
is there in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavan says that people who are Brahmanics, they will eat predominantly sattvic, and then people who are, but tamasic food generally is forbidden. Generally, it should be avoided. I mean, you can eat for energy, you can get as much energy.
Right. And I was always wondering about that, and not that I ever intend to eat that, but I'm just saying, yeah.
Yes. No, they say that, for wrestlers, for soldiers, maybe they may need, but in general, then you have to look at the karma also, because eating meat does create negative karmas. So that is. But thank you. That's a good comment. Hansa Ben, you had a comment?
Satish Bhai said, when we came to this country, we met so many people, or most of the people. And you go to a party, they will give you 2 tickets for the alcohol, and there is a lot of meat, of course. And you see, give me your ticket, see, because they know I don't drink. So they will go for that. Then they will all see meat and they will run after it. So what are they? They are all right sick.
Yeah, so Hansa Ben is asking that people who predominantly eat meat and drink a lot of alcohol, I think it is Rajasic and Tamasic mixed, because meat and alcohol, I would consider, I mean, you can say Rajas, but a lot of Tamas mixed with it, because especially as we talked last week, meat, when you're eating the animal that was killed before, it has a lot of fear, a lot of pain, so all those negative emotions we get. So that's why they say one should avoid meat and alcohol, both. Again, alcohol, all it does is, it puts your mind, gives negative things in you. There's nothing beneficial about it, drinking alcohol. Yeah, but people do, but that does not make it right. Like you say, when you go to parties and people are, going for those things, but just because everybody is doing it doesn't make it right. Yeah. So I think especially if we are on the spiritual path, one has to be very conscious of what I'm eating, what I'm thinking, what I'm reading, what sites I'm going to, internet, all those things. So live a life of alertness. That's what Gurudev says. So thank you for your comments. Anything else?
I have quick, not a question, but in my book, the 17th chapter is supposed to be 3 kinds of faith, but mine says free faith. Is that, and Chinmaya books never have any misreading or misinterpretation,
Says what?
misspelling.
What does it
What
say?
is your book? I have this book. What does your book say the chapter is headed as?
3 kinds of faith. Yeah.
Mine says free, the threefold faith instead of threefold.
No, threefold. It should be threefold, not freefold. Probably
Okay.
occasionally there can be a printing error,
Okay, so excuse me for that, because usually I never find any mistakes ever.
Yeah, no,
So
occasionally
maybe
it
a
can
printing, probably printing in my
printing,
book.
yeah, the printer. It's a threefold faith. Threefold.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because in the
Trivitham.
main book, it is threefold everywhere. Okay,
Yeah, because
thank you
even
so
the
much.
chapter is Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga. That's what
Yes,
it is called.
yes, that's true.
Yeah, so
Only my
Shraddha
book
Traya,
probably
so
has a
3 kinds of
misprinting. I
Shraddha.
don't know.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's just a printing error, right?
Yeah,
Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yogo Nama Saptadasho.
yes.
Yeah. So we'll end here. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Guru Pyo Namah. Harihi Om. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
There won't be any class next Sunday because it is Thanksgiving Sunday. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Hari Om.
We'll go to the hall for Aarti.